Hey guys, I'm John, and you're watching my YouTube channel, A Warrior's Heart. Have you ever been tempted to do something that maybe you shouldn't? Well, that's the topic of my video today, and I hope that you stick with me for the next few minutes as we dive into this topic. Today I want to talk about a topic, temptation. Temptation is very hard subject for a lot of people because it's something that we all deal with. If you say that you're not tempted, well, I'm going to say it, you're lying. We're all tempted in one way or another. Tempted by anything. You might be tempted to pick up that bottle of booze. You might be tempted to call up your buddy that you know has some drugs after a long, hard day at work. You might just be tempted to go and get a big bowl of ice cream out of the refrigerator, or out of the freezer, on a day that you know you don't really need it because you know it's not good for your body. Whatever it is, we all have temptations. We all struggle with different temptations. My temptations may not be your temptations, but we all deal with temptations. Why is it such a problem? Because the enemy, Satan, he knows us. He knows us a lot better than we like to acknowledge. He's a lot smarter than we like to give him credit for. One of his biggest weapons that he uses against us is temptation. He uses that because he knows that if he can trap us in our temptations and get us to give in to those temptations that he throws in our face and he uses against us, that most often we'll go with those temptations and it'll separate us from God. But you know what? The Bible tells us about that enemy. It tells us in 1 Peter 5:8 that the devil is like a roaring lion. He's searching the whole earth, roaming around, looking for people and souls that he can devour. You know, that's pretty serious. And that's one of the reasons that he uses temptation and he uses the weapons that he has against us. He's just looking to do us in. He's looking to do us harm. But you know what? We're not alone in our fight against temptation or against the enemy. God has told us that he will be there whenever we're in trouble. You know, in Matthew chapter 6, in the Bible, Jesus taught us how to pray. That's where he gives us the Lord's Prayer. And in verse 13, he tells us that we are to ask that God help us to not yield to temptation. And that when we are tempted, that we're asking for him to rescue us from the evil one, from the enemy. You know, that is helpful to me, and it should be helpful to you to know that we're not alone in this, that we can call on God and he will help us. He will deliver us whenever we are tempted. You know, whenever we're in trouble, we don't have to have some big, elaborate prayer that is all like you've always heard, one of these big church prayers. It doesn't have to be one of those. It could be simply, help, Lord. I need you. God, you know the situation I'm in. Please help me. Just like you would be calling on a friend whenever you're in help, or you're in trouble and you're in need of help. Psalms chapter 50, verse 15 tells us that all we have to do is call on the name of the Lord when we're in trouble, and he will rescue us. That's what Psalms chapter 50 says. That's what God says. When we are in trouble, we need to call on him. You know, God understands us. He knows us. He knows that we're going to be tempted. He knows that we're going to be in trouble. He knows that we're going to have tough times. But he's promised us that he understands our troubles. You know, in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15 tells us that even Jesus knows what our temptations are like. And he knows, according to the verse, because he has experienced the same temptations that we face. He was faced with all those temptations when he was in the wilderness with the devil, and the devil was trying to give him all the desires of his heart just to avoid carrying through with his plan to rescue the world, to get Jesus himself, dissuaded and get him to move away from his true purpose. You know, if Jesus was tempted, then we have to believe that we're going to go through temptation as well. We have to acknowledge that. We know it's going to happen. We have to be prepared for that. But like I said, it's not an end-all be-all. We know that when we're going to be tempted, when we're going to find ourselves in trouble, we're going to find ourselves in struggle, that God is there to help us. He wants to help us. All we've got to do is call on His name. Call on Him for help, like His Word says, and He will deliver us. I encourage you today that the next time you find yourself tempted to do something or be involved in something that maybe that you don't want to do, or maybe something that you know that you shouldn't be doing, walk away from it. Avoid it at all costs. If you're backed into a corner and you don't know how to say no, say, Lord, help me. Help me to resist this temptation. Help me to resist the devil right now. Just help, Lord, help me. He'll help you if you'll ask. He's promised us that in His Word. I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope that you'll watch this video and then think about it and begin to have another conversation with God. Get to know Him more. Now, if you haven't done so already, I want you to like this video. I want you to share this video with your friends. Leave a comment at the bottom. We can engage in conversation that way. Share this video with your friends, like I said. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to this channel. That way you can continue to get more videos just like this one every single week as I put them out. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. Be a warrior.